What's going on, guys? Victor here, the brand new video. I want to talk about another fight that's going down in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I'm talking about Daniel D-Rod Rodriguez versus Kelvin Gastelum. It's a fight that I kind of don't like being on the main card. I'd rather have this be a featured prelim, especially with how Saudi Arabia, the Prince canceled one card, they pushed this card back to June just to have more competition on there. They have more well-known names on there and everything like that. Sure, we do have the main event, Khamzat Chimaev versus Robert Whittaker, but this is the fight that I would like to have as either the beginning fight on the main card or more likely, which I would really like a lot, to be a featured prelim, because both these guys are a little bit on the down. Both these guys are coming off some losses, on some losing streaks. Kelvin Gastelum is making his way back to the welterweight division. This will be his second fight back. He did have his first fight against Sean Brady, and that fight was an absolute disaster for him. So a lot of people are looking for Kelvin Gastelum to bounce back, and a reason why he left the division is because he had a hard time making weight. He had more success in the middleweight division. He fought for the interim middleweight championship of the world against Israel Adesanya, who was the former middleweight champion himself. A lot of people considering that fight to be one of the best title fights of all time. That fight taking place in the ATL a couple years ago, back in 2019, I believe. So, is this Kelvin Gastelum that we saw against Sean Brady going to show up, or is it Kelvin Gastelum that we all know and love that fought against Israel Adesanya, that fought against Curtis Blades, going to be coming back? That's the Kelvin Gastelum that we all want to see. The one that likes to sling a lot of heavy hands with a lot of volume, who will take you down to the ground, hit you with some dirty ground pound, with some intensity, trying to go in there for the kill. Against a guy such as Daniel Rodriguez, I believe his last loss was against Ian Gary, and they did have a close fight against Li Jingliang, a fight that I thought that he lost myself, but judges gave him that, and it basically saved him at the end of the day. That was the UFC's first fight, that UFC's first pay-per-view back to Miami in a very, very, very long time. But both these individuals like to bang. Both these individuals like to do their work with the boxing. Kelvin Gastelum is a wrestler, and a good wrestler in his own right. Daniel Rodriguez isn't, but he's got some really nice striking, and if he can be able to defend the takedowns of Kelvin Gastelum, then he should be able to hurt him on the feet and possibly get this fight done via KO or TKO of Kelvin Gastelum. Use the wrestling. Get him against the fence. Get both your hands clasped for that double leg takedown. Elevate him, then dump him to the ground, and try to go in there for that half guard. And if you do have the chance, pull the full guard off, you know what I mean? And that's when you're going to do the most of your damage, and he does have the possibility of being able to do that. He just has to be able to pour on some pressure. If you hit him with some ground and pound, then he should be able to move his legs a little bit, getting himself exposed for Kelvin Gastelum to transition from that half guard to full guard, and that's where you're able to flatten him out fully, hit him with some elbows, and try to get a submission in there, whether it's an arm triangle, getting him to his back, or getting a rear naked choke, or just flatten him out and TKOing him via ground and pound. Now, if I'm Daniel Rodriguez and I'm in this position and Kelvin Gastelum's on top of me, hitting me with some ground and pound in full mount, I'm bridging as hard as possible. I'm exploding with my hips, I'm exploding with my waist, and I'm trying to pop Kelvin Gastelum off me. And if he does get off me for about a split second, that's when I'm going to pop up to my feet as fast as possible, reset back in the middle, and that's where we're going to start boxing again. If you're going to defend against a takedown, you have to sprawl. You have to get your legs nice and wide. That way he won't be able to get that double leg takedown easily, and make him transition into a single leg, making it a lot more harder for him to get that takedown. Get your composure back with the balance, and eventually force that grip off of you, and then reset. If I'm Daniel Rodriguez, I'd like to try to get in the clinch as well, hit him with some knees, hit him with some nice boxing. I'm going to try to go down to the body as well, because Kelvin Gastelum has been hurt to the body before in the past, and Kelvin Gastelum has been submitted before in the past as well. Daniel Rodriguez, even though he is technically a boxer, he does have some submission skills as well. I could be wrong, but I do believe he has had a submission victory before in the past in his career. And if I can get Kelvin Gastelum down, I'm hitting with barrage of punches on the floor, and I'm trying to go in there for a rear naked choke or another simple submission that Daniel Rodriguez can be able to execute. So if I'm Kelvin Gastelum, like I said, I'm taking this fight to the floor at all entire times, the whole entire time. I'm not going to try to strike with them whatsoever. I have been able to stand and bang before in the past against the likes of Israel Adesanya, against Tyron Woodley, against Darren Till, etc. But I'm going to go in there, do my absolute best, and not try to take any damage whatsoever. I'm going to try to take this fight to the ground and win by submission. That's Kelvin Gastelum's best mode of victory if I'm him. And then if I'm Daniel Rodriguez, keeping it on the floor, I'm keeping my distance. I'm throwing some kicks in there as well. I'm not going to just box. I'm going to keep it nice and simple, nice and mixed, because it's just mixed martial arts. And I'm going to go in there to try to soften him up to the body, so he can be able to let his guard down a little bit. And I'm going to try to hit him with a nice combination, because Daniel Rodriguez does have some nice combinations. You don't want to go in there and throw 1 or 2 punches. You want to throw 3 or 4, back up, reset, hit 3 or 4 more, back up, reset, and keep on doing it and doing it over again until you can find that sweet spot to be able to execute with and really crack Kelvin Gastelum, get him wobbled, and finish him off so the fight does not go the full 3 rounds. Kelvin Gastelum is going to have more of a cardio advantage, because he has been in 5-round fights before. He has been in many rounds before, and he has been against stiffer competition. Daniel Rodriguez, this is going to be one of his biggest fights up to date. You know, he has faced guys such as Neil Magny, and he has faced guys such as Aaron Gary, but this is going to be a very big matchup for him. Kelvin Gastelum, if he can get a win against Kelvin Gastelum, that should get him a big fight in the top 15 next. So it's a really good fight. Like I said, it's a wrestler versus a striker, but it's going to be an interesting one at the end of the day. I say Daniel Rodriguez is going to get this upset win just because Kelvin Gastelum, he just isn't at home at 170 pounds. I believe he's more of a 185-pounder, but you know, he believes he can be able to make a run for the title going back down to 160 pounds, so we're going to have to see what happens. So it is going to be a good fight, but I'm going to give this to D-Rod. I think he's going to knock out Kelvin Gastelum, and I say it's probably going to happen in the second round. I don't think it's going to happen in the first round. I think it's going to be a feel-out round, and then as the fight goes on, I believe D-Rod's going to pour on the pressure, eventually get Kelvin Gastelum in an ugly situation, capitalize on it, and get him down there for the knockout. Appreciate you guys for watching this video. Stay safe, stay blessed. Love you guys like that Saudi Arabia card. It's going down in June. A lot of fights going down, like I said. UFC 202, UFC 303 international. UFC 302, UFC 303 International Fight Week, and then the Saudi Arabia card, all in June. Enjoy while it lasts, guys, because you might not get that many good fights after that. Take it easy.